Our meeting to order. Thank you for being patient with us as we finished our work study. We had a work study on budget survey, athletics budget, and campus staffing, and we will bring back the marketing information for our next work study. 1.0 is, or 2.0 roll call.
Good afternoon, President Whitener. Please let the record show that all 4 board members are present.
Thank you. This evening, I'd like for us to remember Eloria from Coronado. She passed over winter break, and we will miss her. And it was nice the board had an opportunity to actually present her. She got the Gilbert Young Hero Courage Award just mid-November. And I'd have to say that was a really nice evening for us to actually kind of see her in action in her courageous, in her hero-ness, and it was nice that she could be recognized in that way, and we'd like to remember her family at this time and her friends and the Coronado community. I move that we approve tonight's agenda.
Second.
Is there any questions or comments regarding the agenda? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5.0 is request to speak to the governing board. Do we have any requests at this time? If you'd like to address the board, you can quickly fill out a form with Mrs. Walker, going once, twice, 3 times. Thank you. Action information items. The first board meeting of the year, the governing board has its election of governing board offices for 2016. Something we do every year. I'd just like to say it's been an honor and a privilege to serve the last 2 years. I've been on the board I'm starting my 10th year, and I have to tell you the last 2 years were very, very tiring and challenging, with going through 2 board vacancies, a new superintendent, continued budget cuts 6 years in a row, several district initiatives, and I just appreciate the board's support. I appreciate you for supporting me and telling me you like my graduation talks, because you might be the only 3 listening, but I really appreciate that. Oh, thanks. Thank you. But I really appreciate that. And it's hard to gauge the things. You might only just see us up here twice a month, but it was really hard to gauge the time that myself and these 3 serve, and it does take a lot of time. But I appreciate for the opportunities for growth and to serve, and for the trust and confidence of the things that we have accomplished, especially in the last year. So I appreciate that. And with that, 6.1, I just want to go ahead and offer, move in discussion. Would anyone like to volunteer to be board president?
With that being said, I'd like to recommend Ms. Reese for president, if she wants to volunteer. Voluntold.
So he wants to recommend me to volunteer. I would volunteer. I would love the opportunity to work with Dr. Thomason and the district staff more, and a little change in role. I would be honored to do that.
All righty. Any other volunteers? Okay, nomination for Ms. Reese for board president. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. With that being said, if ever you can't make a back-to-school rally or chamber meeting, which she never does, she knows we'll always be there to, if you need any speech writing, you know. I'm kidding.
You're on speed dial.
Although we do have vice president serving in the role in that capacity, and Ms. Reese did serve in that role, and we appreciate that. Do I have any nominations for vice president?
Ms. Whitner,
Mr. Witovich,
would you like to be the vice president?
if you would like to be the scribe.
I don't want to. Oh, really, would you like to be the vice president? I just feel it'd be a nice, you know,
That's, okay. Any other nominations? You good? Not nominate yourself? Mr. Witovich, would you?
I nominate you.
Okay, thank you.
Is that a nomination for a volunteer?
Those in favor for Vanessa Whitener for,
Vice
is that what we
President.
call it now? We used to call it clerk, vice president. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Okay.
Whew, 7.0.
So I guess here I go, huh? No, I don't want to switch seats.
I get to hand this.
Well, we didn't talk about this.
Wait, there's more.
I don't get your kids. All right.
Oh,
Well,
thank you.
thank you. Yeah, no, the chair fits my feet. Sorry, I'm short. That's important. All right, well, 7.0 Superintendent's Report. Dr. Thomason.
Yes, good evening, President Reese. I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Fowler at this time to do our points of pride, and then I'll do upcoming events when that is completed.
Good evening, President Reese, members of the board. I'd like to introduce Dr. Mallerwine, who's going to come and do some presentations for Cooley Middle School.
Madam President, Governing Board, Dr. Thomason, members of Cabinet, thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight and honor some of the many members that put in every day at Cooley that make Cooley a special place. My assistant principal, Mr. Vanderfloot, I invited him up. I hope that's okay. We're definitely a team at Cooley, so I thought it would be important for him to be here as well. So, firstly, I'd like to recognize, and I'm gonna call you up and I'm gonna talk about you so I can fully, give you the treatment. I'd like to recognize our parent point of pride, Mandy Hamblin. At a middle school with only 2 grade levels, PTO can be a little bit challenging to create any consistency. By the time their child gets in and they kind of get settled into the PTO, their child's on their way out. And it's a 2-year process, so to gain any consistency and stability, it's very hard, but it's still an important thing because they do a lot of things that help support teachers and help support things behind the scene. And Ms. Hamblin has been a blessing. I joke with her sometimes. I call her "Get Her Done Hamblin," because if she sets her sights on getting something done, it just happens. She makes it happen. She's a great organizer. She cares about the school. She cares about children. I'm probably a poor communicator at times, and she kind of reads my mind and helps me out and very, very much supports the school. It's been great having her, and her son, her second of 2, is going to be leaving this year, and I'm sure she's going to go on and help out Williamsfield. And I don't know if the shoes are going to be easy to fill, but she's always welcome to come back and help us out. So, Ms. Hamblin, thank you for your service. It's a pleasure to work with you. And so I need to apologize first of all because I meant to call Mom about 3 times to let her know about this, but I know Avery is so phenomenal. I knew she would let Mom know, so I knew I was covered. So I want to recognize our student point of pride, and that's Avery New. Avery, would you come up, please? Like any student that you would recommend for this award, of course, she has exemplary scores. She's all A's. She also takes 10th grade geometry. She takes 9th grade Spanish. She takes advanced choir. She takes advanced language arts. And what was really interesting about Avery is if you were going to clone the perfect student, this was what it would look like. She comes every day. She's incredibly humble. She's sweet. She's caring. She carries herself with dignity. Well, one of her classes in particular has some characters in it. She rises above that and always is a leader in what she does. And so what was interesting was I kind of put out the word, hey, would you guys recommend some kids? And all 4 of her core teachers and her Spanish teacher all recommended her. So I didn't have any kid that was recommended more than twice by a teacher, except for Avery, and she was 5 times. So it was a clear choice. And she, she's just awesome. It's really hard to explain her in any other way. She gets along great with her peers. She has a great social intelligence, but she also is very strong academically. I know she's going to go on and be successful, and I thought it's great to be able to work with you and be your principal. You make me a better person, so thank you. So when we recommend classified staff, it always gets a little tricky because if you pick somebody, it can be a little difficult with their colleagues. But for me this year, it was really simple because to honor one, I had to honor 2 because they're a team and they work as a team, and it's a phenomenal duo. And so I'd like to call up Miss Stubbs and Miss Brown, and they serve as special aides on our campus. If you guys could please come up. These are 2 very unique individuals. It's a pleasure as a principal when you have 2 ladies that serve in a classified sense as a special ed aide, but they operate like certified teachers. And I'm always talking to them about, hey, you both have degrees. They have these programs. You guys would be phenomenal in this. And so I think I'm almost there with both of them. We had that conversation with Dr. Thomason the other day. But they own what they do. They came to me in year 1 and said, hey, can we come to the staff meetings? They go to all the special ed department meetings. They operate as certified teachers in a classified role, and it's just commendable. I've joked with them, it's per dollar, they're the most value we have in the school because to be quite honest, they're underpaid for what they do, and they're phenomenal ladies, and if I couldn't have done both of them, I wouldn't have been able to do one of them because they're both that high above everybody else. So thank you guys. You guys are awesome and appreciate working with you. I didn't say that, did I? Almost. Okay, lastly, I'd like to honor our Point of Pride Teacher of the Year. This is a special person in a lot of ways. When I came to Cooley years ago and it was new, she was the first teacher that kind of sat down and had a conversation with me. And, she's taken on a role of math department head. And so before I go into any more, I want all eyes to be on her when I'm talking about her. So Miss Geyer, Tara Geyer, I know, we know that. Come on up. So Miss Geyer teaches... Miss Geyer teaches math. She teaches 4 sections of 9th grade algebra, and she teaches 1 section of 10th grade geometry. And she does a phenomenal job. But, you wouldn't be up here if you weren't a good teacher. So it's the intangible things that Tara Geyer brings to the table that makes my job so much easier. math is a difficult subject, and it's difficult to wrap your head around Common Core, and then to be somebody that has to teach in a different way than you've been taught. It's very challenging. And every year at Cooley, our math department seems to turn over by 50%. Principals have some issues. But Tara Geyer, as a department head, brings that group together and gets everybody firing on the same cylinders very fast, and it makes us competitive in the East Valley, and it's through her leadership. And so her social intelligence is her skill. She drives our culture bus. If we need a laugh, if we need something that brings the staff together, Ms. Geyer's the one to do it. And, you know, I love working with her. So, Tara, thank you.
Good to see you. Oh, there's more. It's gotta be Tara's daughter. Gotta be her daughter. Just back up. You tell me the two girls belong to. They're probably used to that, yeah. Yeah, one of the departments. Go.
Thank you. Now, Dr. McCauley.
Good evening, new president. President Reese, Vice President Whitener, Governing Board, and the rest. I don't have flowers for my point of pride because she doesn't like them. But good thing I know what she does like. So, Carol Forsgren, in lieu of flowers, you get movie tickets. Carol Forsgren is our General Education State Reporting Compliance Manager, and she is the point of pride for the Research and Assessment Department. Come on up, Carol. Thank you guys for letting me do that. So you all know about the accolades we've been getting for perfect audits, these never before heard of things that occur, especially this three-year ADE audit that has cost other districts who have undergone that same process hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we were just again 0.5 ADM off over 3 years for our membership reporting. We can thank Carol for that. Carol leads the charges, supports the site level staff in their attendance and membership reporting. So this is Carol. Now, she is the most, in my opinion, significant factor in us being able to have these perfect audits, which means we're going to be funded for every kid. Every kid will be counted in the accountability system, and we will know where we stand, the full picture. Other people who don't have that, conscientiousness about the data, they lose funding, maybe not all the kids counted, but I've got Carol here to do that. So she has a very keen ability to identify issues and remedy them before they blow up and then create more work for us. She has a thorough understanding of all the business rules associated with state reporting, and to be quite honest, probably the most beneficial trait she has is her extreme obsessive compulsiveness. Only to be maybe rivaled by my own, but I don't know, she's probably the winner there. But it is because she is so conscientious about the data that she stands out among her peers. In fact, at these statewide meetings that are led by the Department of Education, the State Department of Education's IT and finance, school finance leaders, Higley's data is often cited as the exemplar they want everybody else to model. So, model after. So, again, that's Carol. And I'm not done, so just stop being all uncomfortable and squirmy over there. All right, so let me just tell you a little bit about the history of Carol and me. I liked her from the start, and I like her even more now that I know her better. And this is not just because we discovered that we share a common ancestor in our family tree that's a direct line several generations back, and both of our trees that weirdly don't have any branches, but that's another story for another day. Yeah, but in all seriousness, she was my first true hire when I came to Higley. And I'll tell you what, she won me over in her interview with just 2 little pieces of information about herself she revealed. The first was, she doesn't like to chit-chat. Booyah, winner. We don't have time to chit-chat in the research and assessment department. We only talk data and numbers and, yeah, okay. And the second thing she's revealed about herself had to do with her hobby, what she enjoyed to do in her free time. That seems kind of weird, right? Till you find out her hobby was doing genealogical research. Now, I happen to know the level of skill you need in research because you've got to reconcile historical records that contradict one another. You've got common names. I mean, how many John Adams are in your tree? Right? Lots. Also the name changes. So I knew, because I knew the dirty data we were dealing with at the state system and how I would beat my head against the wall many times because it just didn't make sense, that she knows that frustration and probably has a lot of skills she's developed to counter that and find the right information. And so I hired her. I kind of ignored the opinions of others for the first time ever in the hiring process. I always was this is the team, we're gonna, nope, not this time. This is who I wanted and this is who I got, and I am so grateful. So she has never, ever disappointed me. Here's the deal. So we used to contract out our state reporting, and after getting yet another failed audit and a 90-day letter from the state saying you have 90 days to get into compliance on your reporting for membership and attendance, or you go into receivership, I went to the superintendent and I said, can we please, after we get through this, please take on the state reporting ourselves? And she said yes. And I'll tell you, the first year, we stayed up late. We were here working late nights that bled into the morning. We were stressed, having many nervous breakdowns every single day, ruining the day we were born, but we got through it. And in that first year, guess what? Our first perfect audit. And so in the next year, I gave Carol a new challenge. I said, Carol, before you come to me with any questions regarding state reporting, you have to exhaust 3 other resources. And you know what? She did it, and she did become that expert. She is our resident expert. She's the expert among her colleagues across other districts in the state who now call Carol before they call the vendor or before they call the state to see how she's getting it done and why we're not having the problems they're having. As an employee, she's a dream come true. That's not hyperbole at all. Her intuition, what she sees beyond the obvious in what people need is a gift. I don't know many people that have it. And I can tell you, she knows when the folks are struggling at the site, and she knows when I or she or our department can help them, and she brings it to me, and we sit down, we put our heads together and say, how can we get this done for them so that they can be freed up to do other important things? And she's always there. She's been there with me for 7 years now. 6 seems longer. No reflection on her. She also takes good care when she sees I'm overwhelmed, trying to juggle multiple projects that unfortunately all have due dates that fall within the same very short block of time. And she knows I don't know how I'm going to get it done, if I'm going to forego sleep or if I'm just going to drive away and never come back. But she'll take one of those little projects I have and just do it. And then it's done. And I'm like, I can't even believe it because I didn't ask her to do it. She just knew it was something she could do for me, and she does it. She eases the burden of others constantly. She's very helpful, and I got to tell you, she's made my life easier. She's made a lot of the girls at the site's lives easier by working with them and finding easier ways for them to get done what they need to get done. And for that, I'm very grateful. And I look forward to working with her many, many more years, even though she keeps saying she can retire in 4. I said, I can't for 12, so come on, just increase your base. If that's how that works, I haven't looked into it. And this is why Carol is the...
Carol, did you want to recognize your guest that you brought with you today? Welcome.
President Reese, members of the board, we do have some events coming up. Tomorrow, on Thursday, we will have the first Higley District and Community-Wide Academic Blitz, and that'll be at Williamsfield High School starting at 6 p.m. I hope we see all of you there. It'll be a great opportunity for your students and families to come out there and learn more about college and career experiences and learn more about the opportunities to gain credit at the high school level and all the different resources and activities we have at both the middle school and high schools. So we hope to see you there tomorrow night.
Dr. Thomason, I'd like to just publicly thank Cheryl Render for all the work that she's done on this upcoming event. Thank you so much. I know you and your team have done a wonderful job.
Then on Monday, January 18th, we have the first holiday of the year. That's the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. And then Thursday, January 21st, we have our Gilbert Mayor's State of the Town address, and that'll be at the Harkins Theater. We hope to see the board members there to enjoy a night of finding out what's going on with our communities. And then we have the spelling bee for the district at the Center for Performing Arts on January 26th at 5 p.m., followed by our next board meeting on January 27th for the work study and board meeting starting at 5:30. I would also be remiss if I didn't recognize Darlene Reach tonight, who you see sitting with Cindy Walker at the board secretary's table. She will be taking over for Cindy as Cindy and her family have decided to leave us and go on to bigger and better things. She will be greatly missed. Thank you, Cindy.
Oh, we're glad to have her. All right, board comments. Anyone with board comments?
I just wanted to thank and let the community know that we did have a work study, kind of a goal-setting meeting last night where we finished up some of our goals for the next coming school year, and we had the opportunity to revisit some cycles and excited for some of those new changes and for things to flow a little bit better, and want to thank everyone and the board members for their time last night.
Anyone else? All right. 8.0 consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Support.
Any comments or discussion or concerns on the consent agenda?
Nope.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 4-0. We don't have any old business on 9.0. 10.0, action and information items. For 10.1, we have an information monthly finance report for December. Ms. Deuce? Does anyone have any questions?
No.
The monthly financial report was sent to the board for review for December 15. For 10.2, I move that we approve the 2015 annual financial report revision. Do I have a second?
Second, but just a second.
Anyone have any questions?
Yeah, I have a question, President Reese. So those revisions include the handout that you handed us?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
It's just a summary, yes.
Okay, thanks.
So how is there no cost implication for number 2 regarding food service?
On the food service AFR?
Yes.
Is that the one you're looking at? That was actually just a number. It was just their tracking to see
Okay.
what the decline is. So we actually reported correctly to our reimbursements, but when the typo came up for the actual AFR, it was just a mistype.
Okay.
So we actually reported correctly.
I do not have any questions at this time.
No other questions? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes 4-0. 10.3, approved district-wide copier replacement.
Second. With some questions. This is not, hang on. Are we leasing any of these? Are we changing the leasing company or just the servicing company?
Actually going to buy them outright rather than leasing. It will
Because
save
I thought we already did that. Like, I thought we already finished all those leasings. No?
We no longer have any leases. We paid
Okay.
them off. But the equipment is at least 5 years old. So depending on which machine we're talking about, it's at least 5 years old. So we're just replacing the ones that need to be replaced.
Okay.
So are we going to be okay? I know some concerns this year, the machines were down for a number of days, turnaround time for repair. That's going to be addressed with
That's
this?
exactly-
And this is going to be more efficient?
That's exactly right.
Okay, thank you.
And just for clarification, 37 of our copiers are over 5 years old and have been repaired numerous times over the past 6 months. So that's why the request for replacing them.
Exactly.
What's the funds that are being allocated to? Are we purchasing new copiers, or are we going to enter into a new lease arrangement?
We'll purchase them outright through bond, through our
Okay,
bond.
bond.
Yeah.
Okay. No more questions?
No,
Any
but
other-
these fall, how can these fall under bond?
Because we have technology as part
That's,
of the.
okay,
Oh, yeah.
technology, okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Nope.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carries 4-0. So 10.4, I move that we approve the E-rate wireless LAN and cabling project purchase.
Second. Second.
Any questions?
The E-rate dollars. It's federally determined. Is there any way that number can increase? Is it per, how do we get our E-rate dollars right now? Is it per student or just what's available? It's from the federal government and the state divvies it up among the districts?
I believe it's a percentage, but I actually brought Chuck to kind of answer those questions since he's more familiar with that piece on how we're reimbursed for E-rate.
Our percentage from E-rate is based on our participation in the free program. And that's how it's regulated. So if you've got 100% free participation, you're going to get a much larger percentage.
Right, so I mean, I understand and know that our E-rate dollars have always been much lower.
We actually went up this year to 49.9%. We had been at 43.2%. So last year, when I set this up for the RFP, I actually anticipated being reimbursed 43.2%. We got 49.9%. So E-rate money will fill up our portion of the gap.
Okay.
Is there not enough LAN coverage and wireless coverage across the district?
Wireless coverage.
So, right now, we are fully covered at the middle schools, but they are the only two schools, thank you, that are fully covered. We are seriously lacking in the high schools and the elementary schools, the K-6 schools.
Okay.
So the only reason we're even asking, or we're eligible for wireless access at this point, is E-rate changed its funding commitments to allow schools that don't have an 80% or higher free and reduced lunch participation to apply for these connections. In the past, we have never been able to apply for connections such as this. The only thing we've gotten from E-rate in the past has been 43% reimbursement on our phone bill and our internet access. So now they've made this change. Schools with under 80%, such as us, are now eligible once in every 5 years to apply for what they call Category 2, which is internal connections, which will fund the wireless access points and the cabling associated with them.
President Reese, members of the board, we want to take advantage of the opportunity that E-rate has given school districts that don't have the wireless capacity at this time. It is a change in what E-rate will pay for from past years, and we would like to take advantage of that while the funds are still available, and they change again.
Any other questions? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 4-0. Any future agenda items?
President Reese, we, more so specifically for the work study, we need to bring back the marketing and media specialist. And also if there's any, any other issues, things we talked about last night, that to make sure that gets emailed to Dr. Thomason or President Reese if you want it on the agenda.
Any other future agenda items? We'll make sure that we get review the marketing information and the media specialist that Mr. Rutovich wanted to continue, that we ran out of time for. Any other future agenda items? All right, 12.0, I move that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Have a good night.